Have you ever seen a really well-designed floor plan and just thought, wow, how did they do that? How does a jumble of ideas, a list of needs like an office here, a kitchen there, a quiet spot over there, turn into a space that just works? Well, it can feel like magic, but I promise you it's not. Today, we're going to break down the exact method that turns that complexity into clarity.
So, how do we get from this, the beautiful, creative chaos of a bubble diagram on the left, to this, the clear, functional, three-dimensional reality on the right? The secret is, it's not some sudden flash of genius. It's a systematic process, a set of steps that, honestly, anyone can learn.
And here's our game plan for how we're going to do it. First, we'll tackle that scary blank page. Then, we'll gather our tools. After that, we'll get into the step-by-step process of actually building the plan. We'll make sure it works in the real world with furniture. And finally, we'll put it through a tough but necessary final review. Okay, so picture this. You are standing in a totally empty building shell. You've got a client with a long, complex list of everything they need. It's a little intimidating, right? The space has so much potential, but it's also loaded with constraints. That feeling right there, that's the blank page problem. So here's the key thing to remember. Our first goal is not to draw something perfect and polished. It's to create what we call a rough floor plan. You really have to think of this as a design tool, not a final product. It's where we get our hands dirty, solve the big puzzles, and test our ideas in a way that's actually realistic.
Right. Before we can start building, we need to get our toolkit ready. This part is all about gathering the essential pieces of information that are going to guide every single decision we make from here on out.
And here's what's in that toolkit. 1. Your best bubble diagram. That's your core concept. 2. The plan of the empty building itself. 3. Your weapon of choice, whether that's a pen or a mouse. And number 4, and this one is absolutely vital, your criteria matrix. Think of this as the project's constitution. It lists every single non-negotiable requirement. This is your North Star that's going to keep you on track when things get complicated. Okay, toolkit assembled, it's time to actually start building this thing. And remember, this is not a random, let's just try stuff process. It is a methodical, step-by-step approach that breaks a huge puzzle down into a series of much smaller, manageable decisions. So, step 1. You start with what's hardest to move. And in almost every building, that means plumbing. Kitchens, bathrooms, they are tied to where the pipes are, so the locations are pretty much fixed. You can see the plan here even identifies a 10-foot plumbing limit. By placing these fixed elements first, you create these solid anchors for everything else. Once the plumbing is locked in, you move on to your biggest, most dominant spaces, what we call the anchors. In this case, it's that huge seminar room. Big rooms like this just don't have that many places they can fit, so getting them placed early on saves you from major headaches later. Now notice what we're doing here. We're not just filling in all the little rooms yet. No, the next step is to figure out how people are going to move through the space. These hallways and paths, what we call circulation, are so critical. They tie everything together, they have strict building codes, and, as you're about to see, they take up a shocking amount of your total area. And this number just proves it. Look at that. In this plan, almost 22% of the entire square footage is just for circulation. That's more than a fifth of your valuable space gone just for getting from point A to point B. It's a huge number, and it's exactly why you have to plan for it early and make it super efficient. And speaking of efficiency, here is a fantastic pro tip. On the left, you've got these common mistakes, these long, dead-end hallways that just eat up space. And on the right, you see the corrections. Smart circulation isn't just about making it easy to walk around. It's about reclaiming precious square footage that you can use for something way more important. So with the big pieces locked in and the pathways defined, now you can finally start to fill in the rest of the puzzle. This is where you place the smaller, more flexible rooms, and all the while, you're constantly checking back with your criteria matrix to make sure you're hitting all those needs for light, privacy, and so on. So great, we've got our rooms laid out. But, a room is just an empty box. It's not really a functional office or a bedroom until you know for a fact that the stuff that's supposed to go inside it actually fits. This quote from the source material just says it perfectly. You don't need to pick out the exact desk chair right now. But you absolutely 100% have to test that a basic desk, a chair, and a filing cabinet will fit and work comfortably. This is a total non-negotiable reality check. And here is a classic example of why that matters so much. See the diagram on the left, the wrong one? It doesn't leave enough room to open a file drawer if someone is walking behind the desk. It's such a tiny detail, but it makes the space totally dysfunctional.
The right layout accounts for that simple clearance, and that makes all the difference in the world.
You've built your rough plan. You've checked the furniture. You might be feeling pretty good, like you're done. But no. Now comes what is maybe the most important part of the entire process, the review. This is where you have to step back, be ruthless, and become your own toughest critic.
Seriously, it is time to take off your creator hat and put on your critic hat. Grab a colored marker, maybe some tracing paper, and get ready to question every single decision you've made so far.
Now, I know this looks like a total mess, but this marked up drawing right here, this is one of the most valuable things you will create. Every red line, every question mark, that's an opportunity. This is where you find the flaws and figure out how to make the plan 10 times better.
And you have to review it systematically. Go back to your North Star, your criteria matrix. Did you hit every single requirement? You've got to check building codes. You have to confirm it meets all the accessibility standards. And you hunt for those little conflicts, like two doors that swing into each other. Trust me, finding these problems now will save you a world of pain later on.
And this, right here, is really the main takeaway of this whole thing. A brilliant floor plan is almost never a single stroke of genius. It's the result of a cycle. You draw, you test, you critique, and you revise. It's a process of constant, relentless refinement. And part of that testing process means you have to think in 3D. A floor plan is flat, but we experience spaces as we move through them. Little sketches like these are so important because they help you ask, what does it actually feel like to stand in this room? Is the scale right? Does it feel welcoming? And that really leaves us with this final thought to chew on. A successful floor plan solves all the technical puzzles, but a truly brilliant one, it goes a step further. It considers the human experience. It doesn't just answer where things are, it answers how that space will ultimately make people feel.